Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about working in Europe. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Hi Frederick, really appreciate the content that you provide daily. No sweat, I'm happy that you enjoy it. I have a question. Can a software engineer from a third world country like Nepal apply for jobs in Europe? If yes, what are the chances of getting hired, and what do you suggest for increasing the chances of getting hired? Thank you. So, first things first, yes, of course, you can apply for jobs in Europe, uh, and the chances of you getting hired are fairly good. You usually don't like you should know something, and this is something that is true, I would say, almost globally. The deficit of programmers is so enormous that most companies actually, depending on the type of company now, because if you have to understand that there's a difference between the different companies that are in IT and what type of developers they are looking for. So sure, you may or may not find it harder to find work in, say, Europe if you're in a third world country with some type of, a small time agency or like some small consultancy or something like that. But if you go to companies who are actually looking for international talents, which I promise you, even in my little town here in Gothenburg, this little city, that is the case. It's actually the norm, where most of the IT companies, they're looking for good developers, and it doesn't matter so much where you are, because usually they will actually consider you regardless of where you are from, and in many cases they will help you relocate or give you some type of help getting, if they need you to be in the country or something like that. Time zones and stuff like that can be a thing if you're doing, say, remote work. You should be aware of that. This question was also followed up by the question about visas, and I can't tell you much about visas, because I'm very underqualified to talk about that. But what I can tell you is that, sure, in some cases I've been part of companies where that has been a factor, but it's never been a deal breaker. Where it's been, let's just say that it's been very rare that that has been the deal breaker, simply because as I was saying, when it comes to software developers, the quality of the developer is usually the main factor in when you're hiring somebody, because sure, getting a visa is a hassle, but if you get the right developer, that is actually going to be a benefit to you. One part because it's going to give you, I mean, ideally this person should produce a lot of money for your company, but also your search for the next developer stops there, because you may not know this, but it's actually extremely expensive to hire developers. Just however you want to do it. Finding your quota of developers is hard. It's really hard, and it's really expensive, especially if you're going to go through recruiters or something like that. So ideally you want the process to be as quick as possible, and I mean, it's not that expensive, honest to God, to get some, if you're going to don't get me wrong, the cost of getting someone from 2 or 3 cities over into your company, or flying someone from the other part of the world, like, we're talking a chump change, guys. It's nothing to do that. I mean, for you it might be expensive to relocate, like for the person who's actually going to do the move, but for the company, unless they're literally going to pay you, like, for to move all your shit and all that stuff, uh, it's not much of a hassle for the company, apart from, as we were talking about, the visa. And the visa in of itself is, yes, it is an effort, but we're not talking about a significant effort, all things considered, if we talk about the benefit that you're getting out of having the right developer. And as for the second part of this question, where I mean, how to increase your chances of getting hired. So I can give you the short version. I mean, I never do this, but I don't have anything better to tell you, because I can't sit here for the entire video and just repeat things that I've said 100 times before, or because we're already at, like, what, the halfway mark for a standard video. I have a lot of videos on this channel, and I'm very sorry that I'm not better at structuring stuff, because this is just a hobby for me, and I just basically I offer one and one thing only on this little channel of mine, and that is that everything I tell you, I at the very least believe is the truth, and it is the truth that is coming from somebody who does this full time. I'm not a YouTuber. I am not a hobby coder or anything like that. I am, in every sense of the word, a professional software developer. I make everything you see in the background is bought with programmer money, and more stuff than that. And so all the videos that I make, you can basically just search for getting hired or anything like that, and you will find many videos where I talk about how to get hired and increasing your chances. And it doesn't really matter if you're in a third world country or if you're like just a local person from wherever the company is. It's pretty much the same process. The short version is you need to get a strong, good CV that ideally with as much experience as you can muster. The second thing is that you need to, through that CV, and of course when you actually get to talk to people in the company, prove that you are good at what you do and that you really love what you do. Now this is very, very broad stroke, but that is the essence of what you're going for, because that is what practically every single software company under the sun is looking for. So what I want you to take away from this is that of course you can work in Europe. You can work practically anywhere as a software developer. It really doesn't matter all that much to companies who are looking for qualitative programmers or quality programmers where you are, because the cost of relocating you or the cost of getting you to wherever they are is not that high in comparison to what it's going to cost them to just continue their search or get someone who is not as good as you are or so forth. So a lot of companies are open to it, absolutely. I'm not saying that that's the case for all companies, and the visa thing might be a something that can be an issue at some point, but on average I can tell you that it's not a deal breaker for most companies. It is something to consider, but if your skills are there and they really feel that you're a good fit for their company, that is something that they will take care of, and they will help you with that. And as for increasing your chances of getting hired, build up a good and strong CV with as much experience as you can possibly gather. Secondly, make sure that you, through that CV and through your personality and the initiative and all the things that you do to get good at this programming thing, that you communicate that you're good at this programming thing and that you really like doing it. Because potential and passion and all this stuff is infectious. If you have the right mindset and you have the right attitude towards your profession and you have the skills to back that up, everybody wants to hire you. I promise you that. Have a great day.